baik tu dia jadi beratahu रेडियो फीजी बहुत रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
Good evening, Fiji. In this bulletin, USP saga drags on as students threaten boycott. Social Welfare Ministry issues warning and contradicting claims in alleged assault case.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
The police force has started an investigation into the public gathering at the University of the South Pacific. Police has also confirmed that it will not hesitate to arrest people who are found to be breaching the COVID-19 restrictions during the ongoing protests at the institution. This comes as the Students' Association has this afternoon threatened to boycott exams and classes unless their demands are met. Lena Rees with the details.
The police commissioner today confirmed that he is looking into possible breaches by those who have been protesting at the Lovala campus.
We visited them yesterday and again today and spoken to key people there and also those that were congregating there. And we will be taking people in for breach of the COVID restrictions that are in place.
The USP Students' Association have today, in a letter to the council, demanded the resignation of Pro-Chancellor Winston Thompson, Deputy Pro-Chancellor Aloma Johansson, and Chair Audit and Risk Committee Mahmood Khan, adding that they will not step back from participating in peaceful demonstrations.
There has been a clear disregard to the alarming concerns raised by members of the USP Council for member countries, including staff and students. So all these concerns have been disregarded, and as per the statement from the student president, the Pro-Chancellor did not respond to any of the alarming concerns, which he should have as a duty of care towards the council and towards the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Pal.
Earlier today, some of the USP staff and students were gathered near the USP library to show support to the now suspended Professor Aluwalia. They were also told by police that any continuation of the protest would require a permit.
Women, men, youth, older people, they believe in what they've come out. You only come out and do this when you believe that something is good. And I think that's a reflection. All that you're seeing is a reflection of the belief in their leader.
Concerns continue to be raised about the operations at USP, and students are also saying that all this drama is affecting their education. The now suspended Professor Aluwalia had earlier raised serious concerns regarding governance issues when the previous Vice-Chancellor was in office. The USP Council says an independent investigation into the allegations will be conducted. The VC, Professor Aluwalia, will be suspended from duties on pay and without withdrawal of privileges, and an acting Vice-Chancellor and President is to be appointed in the interim by the Council to manage the affairs of the university. Lena Rees, FBC News.
Over 20,000 social welfare beneficiaries stand to lose out if they do not comply to submitting their recertification forms to the ministry. These forms are needed by the Ministry of Social Welfare in an attempt to update their records and in the process streamline the list of people who rely on payments. Sanyani Mboila reports Social Welfare Director Rupeni Fatiaki says this exercise will help them iron out all anomalies such as those who should not be getting assistance.
The Social Welfare Department says it has come to light that some people are still getting social welfare benefits despite them now not being eligible. And to ensure this is stopped, the ministry needs all the relevant details from those who are on its list.
So we'll give them the 3-month grace period. After the 3 months, and if they don't come back, don't receive any response, then we will permanently remove those cases.
Over 44,000 forms were issued by the Social Welfare Department to recipients to confirm and verify all their relevant information, and only 38,490 completed forms returned. 27,620 others who are still receiving social welfare assistance have made no attempts to register.
Those that are holding on to their forms, please return it now before the end of the month. Because come the deadline, what is going to happen is that we're going to hold all those cases that have no forms.
The Social Welfare Department knows those that need the assistance, so it's crucial for them to thoroughly check all recipient status. The Social Welfare Department knows those that needs the assistance, so it's crucial for them to thoroughly check all recipient status.
Yes, the ministry needs to thoroughly review this because some of the recipients are stable and the assistance needs to be shifted to other people who needs it.
The Social Welfare Department is working on reviewing and verifying the status of all its 88,000 plus recipients, especially on the three major programs, namely Poverty Benefit Scheme, the Social Pension Scheme, and the Care and Protection Allowance. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
The family of an Asino policeman, Basilo Tambua, has spoken out against allegations of police brutality and assault posted by their landlord on Facebook. Landlord Yogesh Kumar claimed he was assaulted and robbed by Tambua and his father-in-law last week. Both were Kumar's tenants, along with Tambua's partner Vasimada Vunaki, who says they did not assault Kumar. Venina Rakautonga has the details.
Vasimada Vunaki spoke to FBC News refuting the claims made by her landlord, claiming he was overreacting.
My father had been waiting for a long time at the gate trying to get in, but he kept refusing to open the gate, saying mean stuff to my father.
And as soon as she informed me, I just told her to just tell him to wait there. I'm coming out to open the gate.
Kumar alleges that it was then that he was assaulted by Tambua and his father-in-law.
Basli and his father started punching me, and as I fell down, they started kicking me on my backside here, on my legs.
Vunaki, however, denies these claims, saying her father was trying to fix the gate, claiming it was then that Kumar walked towards them with a piece of metal. She claims her partner Tambua saw what was happening and quickly held Kumar to make him drop the metal.
When I saw Kumar walk towards my father with his steel, my partner quickly reacted and tried to wrestle him to drop the metal. But before that, he was throwing empty beer bottles at us.
Kumar, who is heavily bandaged, claims he was badly hit by the two individuals.
They dragged me on the Tahsil Road in front of my driver. And after that, the police came and they took me to the station. And from there, they told me to get on medical report. So my wife hired one taxi and took me to Valuable Center.
FBC News asked Kumar to cite his medical report, which showed that he had no signs of bleeding, with organs all in normal condition. Police spokesperson Anane Soro says they received the report and investigation is currently underway. Venina Rakautonga, FBC News.
The sugarcane crushing season begins tomorrow, starting in Lambasa. Ministry of Sugar's Permanent Secretary Yogesh Karan says while all the mills are ready to begin crushing, there has been some concern with the lack of operators for the 78 mechanical harvesters. Maggie Boyle reports.
The crushing season is set to begin from tomorrow, and there are high hopes for a bumper crop harvest.
Maintenance has been completed, just few of the issues that in terms of the maintenance program required to be done, which I understand will be done this week. So it's all ready to go, and we're expecting a good crushing year this year. Fingers crossed. We don't hope to see cyclones or flooding, and we're expecting a good crop.
However, even the sugar sector was not spared the impacts of COVID-19, with mechanical harvester operators in short supply.
But as per the memorandum of agreement between the purchaser, which is the cooperative or individual farmer, the suppliers in India had put in that these machines will be operated by them while it's under warranty. The reason being because these are complex machines, very expensive, approximately about $330,000 to $360,000.
Sugarcane Growers Council's acting CEO Sunil Deo says to counter this, some 30 local operators are currently in training to be able to operate some of these machines when the crushing season gets underway. Meanwhile, the Fiji Sugar Corporation has estimated a sales forecast of $150 million for this crushing season. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Meanwhile, it will be a slow start to the harvesting and crushing season in Lambasa. Harvesting has started this week, with the Lambasa sugar mill expected to commence crushing from tomorrow morning. Eleanor Tarangaview reports only a handful of farmers have started harvesting their cane.
Cane crushing at the Lambasa sugar mill is expected to get off on a slow start due to low cane supply, with the harvesting and crushing season only just commencing.
This is usual every season. It's like this, a bit slow start in the first few days, then it's going to pick up Some farmers have started harvesting their cane, while others are still making the final preparations in getting their machinery and labor in order.
The farmers should now engage themselves in harvesting their crops as soon as possible before the rainy season comes in.
Wengele cane farmer Change Reddy is among the few farmers who have begun harvesting this week, and he is looking forward to a good season. Reddy will be harvesting over 600 tons of cane this season, which will fetch him close to $25,000.
We just looking forward that as soon as possible the crushing starts, so all the people will be busy. As Lambasa, people are dependent on sugarcane.
Final test runs were conducted today at the Lambasa mill to ensure it is ready for the crushing season, and by midday today, cane trucks have already started lining up outside the mill to wait the commence of crushing tomorrow morning. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
Up ahead, FRA continues to fight road conditions, and thousands pay tribute to George Floyd.
Nadang ko aprosan ngarse, go erkraki. Do talebe na barong na Radio Fiji 1 nandomo ibiti.
Radio Fiji 1 nandomo ibiti.
The Fiji Roads Authority intends to rehabilitate the major arterial roads in the Central Division over the next 18 months, with road conditions becoming a matter of grave concern. Chief Executive Jonathan Moore says temporary fixes such as repairing and patching potholes is not a solution anymore. Pranita Prakash reports.
Roads such as Princess Road, Waimanu Road, Ratumara Road, Nambua, Fletcher, Nokonoko and Ratudovi Road are on the top list for rehabilitation.
We work out the most badly affected roads, and we have it's like a list of badly affected roads against most used roads, which is why you see roads like Princess Road, for example. It's badly affected in places and it's heavily used. So the ones that are the most heavily used and the most badly affected get priority first.
Chief Executive Jonathan Moore says rehabilitating these roads will diminish the eyesore of potholes.
The pothole forms because the seal on the road is broken. Either there's a crack in the road that allows water in, that washes out under the pressure of the wheels, on the tyres on the road, the pressure loosens the material, water helps it lubricate and it forms a pothole. Once your seal is complete, then the water doesn't penetrate and the pothole doesn't start.
Many frustrated Fijians believe it is high time that proper work is carried out on our roads.
It will help us because of the condition at the moment is very pathetic and too many maintenance on the vehicles. And I suppose the government and the road authority should look into rehabilitation as soon as possible.
Well, the current situation of the road is pathetic. It's in a very worse condition and deteriorating condition. I think the contractors are not honest. They don't do their work honestly.
Moore says they spend more than $10 million on pothole repairs every year, and one of the reasons why they are focusing on rehabilitation and resealing roads. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Fiji First General Secretary Aya Said Qayyum says they're looking into the allegation against Government MP Rohit Sharma regarding a case of domestic violence. The 41-year-old is charged with one count of assault, causing actual bodily harm. Sharma is alleged to have assaulted his wife at their home in the Vui-level housing. His wife reported the incident to police, but later wanted to withdraw the charge, which is prohibited under current laws.
Yes, he's actually written to us. And we're actually looking at what is written to us, and we'll take it from there.
The Fijian government continues to work to bring back Fijian nationals who have been stranded overseas in the aftermath of COVID-19 restrictions. Acting Permanent Secretary for Foreign Affairs Yogesh Karan says while borders remain closed, they have been able to facilitate the return of some Fijians on select repatriation flights. Karan says they continue to liaise with their overseas counterparts to accommodate Fijians on chartered flights where possible.
At the moment the borders are closed, but despite that we were able to bring 64 of our nationals about a week ago. They're in quarantine, and the other flight which was supposed to happen and on the 4th that didn't eventuate because we could not get the seats on that. It was on Air India. So the next flight that I'm being told is around the 15th, and we'll see how best we can get to find seats on that.
Turning overseas, thousands of mourners have turned out to pay their respects to George Floyd before his funeral tomorrow. This comes as ex-Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, who pressed his knee on Floyd's neck, had his bail set at $1.25 million during a hearing today. And as mentioned, Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer who pressed his knee on George Floyd's neck for nearly 9 minutes as the man begged for his life, appeared in court for the first time today. Chauvin was arrested last month and charged with third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter. Last week, prosecutors added a second-degree murder charge. Here's more. It's Tuesday's Business Time with Whitney, and she will have more on the Fijian budget consultations.
Thanks, Jackie. Coming up in business tonight, Fijian budget consultation gather pace. And in growing Fiji, trash audit to safeguard our ocean. Stay with us.
My name is Neha and I'm from Karavi. And Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
The government will be carrying out a thorough budget consultation with the people, businesses and stakeholders to get their view and submissions for the next financial year. Economy Minister Asa Kium says it's important to get the views of the mass to allow the budget to reflect on the impacts that the COVID-19 pandemic on various industries, sectors and people's lives. Koroi Tandulala reports.
The Economy Ministry have been receiving large number of submissions from Fijians, with some handing over hard copies to their office.
People, as you know, have put together their budget submissions. People have emailed, people have formally handed it in, hard copies. People have commented on Facebook also. And we are also planning to have a number of consultations.
The minister adds that public consultations are well underway for the 2020-2021 national budget, which is expected to be announced next month.
The Permanent Secretary for Economy has already started her consultation with the respective Permanent Secretaries from other ministries. And obviously that will take place as usual, and then we'll also have consultations with the ministers with their Permanent Secretaries in the subsequent weeks.
Syed Kayum says other than receiving applications online and through emails from the general public, they are also going to carry out face-to-face consultation. Koroi Tandulala, FBC News.
Donut sales are expected to hit their peak in the U.S. The famous Dunkin' Donuts says its franchisees are seeking to hire up to 25,000 workers as it prepares for higher demand as U.S. states reopen. And the Nasdaq posted a record closing high yesterday, becoming the first of the major indexes to confirm a new bull market. And the S&P 500 ended in a positive territory for the year as expectations for a swift recovery from a COVID-19 driven downturn increase. We now join Sanifa from HFC Bank with the latest from the money markets.
A quick look at the markets. The US dollar slid and commodity currencies of developing countries gained as risk appetite ramped up. The New Zealand dollar rose to its highest in nearly 4 months after the government declared the nation free of infections yesterday. Surging commodity currencies and the rising Japanese yen point to investor anxiety over the US Federal Reserve's next move. The Japanese yen extended big overnight gains to a week high as investors weighed the possibility of stepped-up bond buying, or even simply a very dovish outlook from the Federal Reserve meeting today and tomorrow. That's all for now from HFC Bank, Vinaka.
Turning to today's exchange rates as set this morning, the Fiji dollar was generally on the rise, gaining against the Chinese yuan and the US dollar, as well as the PNG kina and the euro. The Sangamoli lost ground against the New Zealand dollar, which was on the rise after the announcement New Zealand was COVID-free, as well as the Aussie dollar and the Japanese yen. Commodities were on the rise. The price of crude oil decreased slightly to just above $38 a barrel. Gold went back on the rise to $1,701 per ounce, while silver closed up at $17.85. In growing Fiji, the Waterways Ministry will now be able to gather actual data of pollutants that comes out from our waterway system and into the ocean. This follows the launch of the Ocean Trash Audit Program by the Economy Minister Asa Kium yesterday. While launching the new project, Syed Kayum says with a new system in place, a holistic approach is also needed to help us sustain our sea life.
It's critically important that the Ministry of Environment does this, does the measurements on a daily basis, gets actual raw data available. But as citizens of this country, we should not sit back and say, well, they've got a net, it's okay, I can throw anything I like. They'll capture it in any case before it goes into the ocean. So I think we need to be able to create the public awareness about it too, and to be able to, photograph what you're going to capture in the nets, and then publicize it as much as possible.
That's it from Business Tonight. We now join Jamie with the latest in sports.
Thanks, Whitney, and good evening. In Sports Tonight, Sevens speedster believes Olympic dream will get harder. And F8 has set up a player welfare foundation. There's some more coming up.
Bula, I'm Miri, I'm from Lotoka, and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Arguably the best wing of the 2019-20 World Sevens Series, France-bound Amniasi Tuimamba accepts he won't be guaranteed a spot in the Fiji team to next year's Olympic Games. In fact, the 25-year-old whose form this season would earn him a starting place in any international sevens team believes that chasing a place in the national side will be even harder for him next year. Aquila Dama with this report.
That is ridiculous!
He may be the best sevens winger in the country, but that comes to nothing when vying for a spot in the Tokyo Olympics next year.
It's Olympic tour. Every place they have target for that, and they want to play for that Olympics gold medal.
Tuimamba says he may be in form now, but the transition from 15s to 7s will be quite challenging.
And off the field.
Tuimamba is not the only one worried about his Olympic sport.
That's what we all try to achieve, or that's what we are all aiming for.
The organizers of the postponed 44th Fiji Betamara Sevens are planning to hold the tournament at the end of the year. The tournament was scheduled to be held from March 19th to the 21st, but was deferred due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Tale Materakula reports.
The Maris Sevens organizers have presented their plans to the Fiji Sports Council.
The Maris Sevens, that was the first event that got cancelled because of the COVID scare in March. They are planning and hoping that we can reactivate that towards the end of the year.
And the biggest tournament in the country is set to make some changes to its usual way of running the tournament.
We may even reconsider doing a review to probably sharpening those teams down to maybe our top 32 teams only. We're not sure at this stage. We have had preliminary discussions.
The final decision will rely heavily on the government and its decisions on COVID-19.
Fiji Betamara Sevens will only reconvene once government gives us the go-ahead to stage such an event, which is a mass gathering of people. Apart from that, the Fiji Betamara Sevens will not go ahead.
Should the tournament be held at the end of the year, the initial number of 48 men's teams may be chopped to 32 teams. Numbers for under-20s will remain at 12 and women's at 8. Talima Terkula, FBC Sports.
Fiji-born Australian women's sevens player Aaliyah Green is renowned for her speed on the field, but not many know of her strength in the gym.
One thing I've definitely learned in my career playing professional rugby sevens is that injury has taught me a lot, and anyone that's watching this or you really should use any kind of setback as an opportunity to get better at other things, and that's something that I've used rehab as, even though I'd be lying if I said I didn't get depressed in the first few weeks and even throughout the process.
South African sevens star and former World Rugby Sevens Player of the Year, Cecil Africa, is retiring from international sevens. A key member of the All Black Sevens squad has declared he will recommit to the program through to the rescheduled 2021 Olympic Games. Co-captain Scott Curry was considering retirement after this year's games, but one glaring omission from an otherwise stacked CV, a sense of unfinished business, has been enough to keep him on. The Fiji Football Association will soon establish a Football for Humanity Foundation to assist its players. The foundation will be used for relief efforts towards players during times of natural disasters or pandemic. President Rajesh Patel says this is part of the association's move to ensure player welfare.
Once we have tournaments going on and everything, there will be certain additional dollar charge that will be given to the fans that will contribute towards the Football for Humanity program, and this will be for the gesture of the players.
Now, play of the day, Florian Wirtz has set a new Bundesliga record. This as he netted a late consolation in his side's 4-2 defeat by Bayern Munich. That's it from Sports Tonight.
Bula, I'm Miri, I'm from Lotoka, and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
We now turn to Angie with her latest look at the weather.
Bonsoir, a little French touch to our evening, and you are very welcome to the Weather World, where it's all about weather. Now diving straight into it, there's a weak trough of low pressure that is accumulating, and that's why we have all this rain. Now checking the other centers out, in the west it was very cloudy with light sunny spells. Rain will belt in later tonight. Eastwards from Peck Harbour to Suva, it's noticeably cool and rainy. There is high predictions of showers to swing later tonight and continue into morning. And up north, it can expect a drop or two. So basically, all divisions will have a thing called rain. At sea, southeast winds 20 to 25 knots, rough seas, sunrise at 6:33. Now turning to the tides, high tide at 9:52 p.m. with low tide at 3:41 a.m. For tomorrow, the high pressure will lock in the temperatures, bringing us the same scoop of weather as today. Tomorrow's temps, bar will drop low to 29 degrees, pretty chilly in the soccer town. And looking further onto Thursday, good thing is that the weather will improve. Well, looks like we're in for a good deal. That's all the weather from the Weather World. It's back to Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fiji and Pulse tonight, we ask, do you think the ban on single-use plastic bags is still being followed by traders and consumers?
The ban on single-use plastic has been great because it helps protect our ocean and our land as well. Because if we look at it, there are many disadvantages about plastic.
I really supported it, the ban of the plastic.
I think we are now getting used to the ban on plastic bag, and it's great.
I'm glad the ban is in place because before we can see plastic bags everywhere. People were not using the plastic bags responsibly.
Recapping the main stories for tonight, USP saga drags on as students threaten boycott. Social Welfare Ministry issues warning and contradicting claims in alleged assault case. Now for these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question we're asking, will you be willing to resort to local holidays to help our tourism industry? Visit our FBC website to answer. And our shot of the day, we head off to Madhuwata for today's shot of the day. Epeli Seniloli sent in this picture of Namama Nanduri in Madhuwata. And you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj. Share it with us on our Facebook page, FBC News, and our Twitter page at FBC_news. That's your news for tonight. Until tomorrow, from the team and I, stay safe, stay warm and dry. Bye for now.
Bula, I'm Miri, I'm from Lotoka, and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.